Welcome back to Paleozoan. This is episode 5. Today we're going to talk about Europe's first artists, and they may not be who you're expecting. This episode was inspired by a 2018 article, and I have used subsequent, more recent articles to make my point here. So if you'd like to see those and read them yourself, please feel free to go to buymeacoffee.com/Paleozoan. All of my articles are free. You don't have to pay a cent, but if you feel like dropping $1 or 50 cents in there, I would be happy to have it. It helps me make better content. It will help me upgrade my equipment. Also, please like and subscribe before we continue. And let's jump right into it. How Europe's oldest cave paintings rewrite human history. For centuries, we've told ourselves that we, Homo sapiens, were the first to dream in color, the first to mark cave walls with symbols, and the first to express our inner thoughts. We have imagined ourselves as the original artists, the pioneers of storytelling. This is human exceptionalism at play. Recent discoveries in Europe have shaken this narrative to its core. Deep within Spanish caves, red and black pigments tell a story that doesn't belong solely to us. The oldest artworks date back over 64,000 years, long before modern humans are believed to have set foot on European soil. The artists? None other than our famous cousins, the Neanderthals. Neanderthals have often been portrayed as primitive and intellectually limited due to a stupid drawing in the early 1900s. They are not a side branch of humanity defined by brute strength rather than cognitive sophistication, as this art will show. These paintings tell us something different. They challenge us to look beyond stereotypes and consider, what if Neanderthals were storytellers, creators, and dreamers in their own right? What if the origins of art, and perhaps even of the human soul, stretch back farther than we ever dared imagine? Scientists from the University of Southampton, working with the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology, have found the first definitive evidence that Neanderthals were likely artists. Using an advanced dating technique called uranium-thorium dating, the team studied tiny carbonate deposits in the cave that formed on top of the red ochre paintings in 3 Spanish caves: La Pasiega, Maltravieso, and Ardales. I'm sorry if I have butchered these. Unlike radiocarbon dating, which struggles with the age range of these cave paintings, uranium-thorium dating precisely measures trace amounts of radioactive decay in mineral deposits. This method revealed that the paintings were over 64,000 years old, making them the oldest known cave art in Europe so far as we know, and most likely Neanderthal in origin. Now, as we know, art is an expression of symbolic thought, but so too is creating a stone tool out of a rock. But these caves contain images that are familiar at first glance: red and black hand stencils, dots, animal shapes, and geometric designs. In Maltravieso Cave, a haunting hand stencil displays only 4 fingers. Is this a Neanderthal's distinct gesture forever preserved, or perhaps this individual only had 4 fingers due to frostbite or hunting accident or other dangers that they lived through? In Ardales Cave, Neanderthals selected concave white stalactites to highlight their red pigment, creating a striking visual effect. And in La Pasiega in northern Spain, Neanderthals created one of the most enigmatic figures of all: a red, bold, geometric or ladder-like shape alongside an abstract, indecipherable figure. To modernize, this figure evokes pareidolia, the human tendency to see familiar forms such as faces or figures in abstract patterns. Some viewers see a seated humanoid form next to the geometric ladder shape, as if the two shapes are meant to interact. The ambiguity of these forms raises profound questions. Was the ladder in Pasiega simply a decorative design? Did it represent a structure or concept? We may never know. And was the shape beside it an intentional figure, perhaps meant to depict a seated person, or merely a collection of marks that invite imagination? The deliberate placement of these forms suggests they were designed to engage the viewer fully, challenging us to find significance in their shape. This pairing of symbols points to a Neanderthal capacity for abstract thought and an art form that evokes curiosity and demands interpretation. It should also be noted that the animal figures that have been seen inside of the latter shape may have been created much later, possibly by early modern humans, but we're not very sure about this. One of the most intriguing aspects of this for me is that this tradition, this art, is separated by about 700 kilometers, which is roughly 435 miles. Each site showing similar forms of symbolic markings, although the geometric ladder shape and figure are unique. And this suggests that Neanderthal art was not an isolated incident. Instead, it points to a shared cultural practice, a Neanderthal tradition of marking their surroundings that may have been passed down through generations. This is remarkable. This is not the work of a single artist, most likely, but a testament to the enduring legacy, a visual language of sorts that may have been connecting Neanderthal communities across the vast landscape. Dirk Hoffman, co-author from the Max Planck Institute, emphasizes that these artworks represent symbolic material culture, a quality long considered unique to us modern Homo sapiens. He explains that such artifacts indicate a cognitive threshold in evolution, an ability to create objects with symbolic rather than merely practical value. These are the marks of humanity as we know it today, yet they emerged from Neanderthals. Does this rewrite what it means to be human? If Neanderthals could create art, then our need to symbolize and communicate through images may be an evolutionary inheritance that dates back much farther than we once thought. This discovery raises profound questions about what it means to be human. Art, creativity, and the drive to leave a mark may not be unique to Homo sapiens after all. Instead, they could be traits that originated with a common ancestor over 500,000 years ago. Such an idea challenges the dividing line between us and them, reminding us that Neanderthals were not a failed branch of humanity, but a unique and complex expression. We must have been similar enough to interbreed with them. Our culture must have been recognizable enough to interbreed with them. This is my thought, not from the article. The art is not a crude attempt at expression, but a sophisticated practice that involves selecting ideal locations, mixing the pigments, and envisioning how colors would interact with natural rock formations and be interpreted by others that would see them. In their own way, Neanderthals were artists, driven by the same forces that compel us to create, even if we cannot understand their intention. This art shows a timeless connection across species, if that's what we are. Standing before those ancient hand stencils and geometric shapes, we feel an undeniable connection to the Neanderthals who made them. They were people too, in my eyes. In the silence of the cave, with only faint torchlight illuminating the symbols, you can almost feel the presence of these ancient people. Their handprints and marks reach out across millennia, inviting us to see the world through their eyes, to imagine their thoughts, their beliefs, and their dreams, which must have been much like ours. As we continue to study and reflect on these markings, we are reminded that art is a powerful link between minds separated by time and space. The Neanderthals who left their mark in red ochre on the Spanish cave walls may have had no idea that their work would last tens of thousands of years, but they achieved something timeless in their act of creation. These symbols, born in the depths of a darkened cave, have transcended their makers, bridging the gap between Neanderthals and modern humans and inviting us to rethink the boundaries of creativity and intelligence. This is the story of humanity, a story that includes our Neanderthal cousins as pioneers, as far as we know right now, in the realm of art, forging a shared heritage of creativity that spans the ages. All my references and further reading is included in the description below. As I build the channel, if I ever get around to doing it consistently, I will be able to create clickable links, but for now, I can only create text links. Please check out my Buy Me a Coffee. All of the blog posts that correspond with these podcast posts are free to read. You do not need to donate anything, but if you would like to, once again, it helps. Also, if you didn't earlier, please like and subscribe. I will get better at promoting if I get more engagement. See you next time.